Good evening all, or good early evening all. Welcome to the West Ham Daily, and this is going to be very, very short because I'm doing the West Ham Weekly tonight and I'm going on more than just a podcast in about 25 minutes time. So I don't have much time to talk, but I'll snap through this because I thought it was quite an interesting story that came out today. Earlier this morning, we read a story that we made a loan offer for a striker from who plays his football in Italy. He is the son of Diego Simeone. I'm sure most of you will know who he is. I'm not going to guess who he is. I'm guessing it's the little guy on the right hand side. His name is Giovanni Simeone, the son of Diego Simeone. He currently plies his trade at Cagliari in Italy. But let's go way back to where he started off. He developed through the youth academy at River Plate, as most pretty good Argentinian footballers do. Despite being born in Spain, he has represented Argentina on international duty. He played 30 games for River Plate, scoring four goals and 3 assists, which caught the attention of Genoa. And that was the first Italian team that he was sold to way back in 2016. While he was at Genoa, he made 37 appearances for the club, scoring 14 goals with 2 assists. And that then caught the attention of another club in Italy, Fiorentina. Fiorentina bought him for £15 million a couple of seasons later. In his time at Fiorentina, he made 80 appearances, scoring 22 goals with 8 assists. So you could see that he was developing into a better player. But the tail end of his time at Fiorentina started to prove to be not so good for him. He went out on loan to Cagliari, the southern club, and Cagliari decided to purchase him for £12 million in 2020 after he went out on loan to them. He's still at the club now. He's made 70 appearances for the club, scoring 18 goals with 6 assists. And he has a contract till 2024 with a value of around about £10 million. Now, he's also made appearances, as I said, for Argentina, 5 appearances and scoring 1 goal. So why are we interested in a player that looks like he's a little bit inconsistent? Well, the one thing with this player is that he's playing for a club that has only just gotten away with relegation. Cagliari just avoided relegation by 4 points last season. So he's played for a team that isn't really there, creating many chances for the club, especially for the strikers. And it could be a moment where, if the offer is true, if we have made a loan offer for this player, it could be a situation where David Moyes has seen something in this player and he thinks that maybe he can get the best out of him at a club like West Ham. Now, the player would certainly benefit from a loan spell to a Premier League club, but Cagliari, I don't think, would favour a loan spell for the player. £900,000 won't do much for them. They were desperate, even though he only scored 6 goals for them. They were desperate for his services, and they need players like him in order to stay in Serie A next season. So we're wondering that if they're going to let that player go, I think they'd rather sell him, get money for him, so that they reinvest in the squad. And a loan spell wouldn't be of any use to Cagliari at all. So what about this player? What's he like? Well, he's a typical sort of, I guess a centre forward. He doesn't necessarily run the flanks too much. He's kind of stays in the middle of the park. And you know what I'm like about Antonio? I always say that I think a striker should be in the middle of the park and not sort of going out wide. And he might fit into the David Moyes system. But I guess maybe if we're going to be looking at free signings, if we're going to be looking at loan signings, I guess he's one of that kind of player that we may be looking for. Now, I wouldn't say that he would be the main striker that we'd go for. I'd still think that we're going to go out and splash a bit of cash. And if you watch my West Ham Weekly show tonight, boy oh boy, I've got more stories you can shake a stick at. There are so many transfer stories out at the moment that I implore you to watch the show tonight. It's on at 8:30, and I'll go through all the player listings, all the player transfer stories that we've got over the past 7 days alone. Forget any other weeks. So Simeone, interesting player. I wouldn't honestly say that he inspires me too much. He's got half decent goal scoring record, but you can see it's been declining over time, and he hasn't been prolific for any team in Serie A. You could say maybe in the 80 appearances for Fiorentina, that was probably his best time, scoring 22 goals. But even that is not a 15, 16 goal a season, 20 goal a season striker that I think West Ham needs. Backup, a loan spell for £900,000 as a backup striker, absolutely. But like I say, I cannot see why Cagliari would want to loan a player like that, because it will not be. It will be to their detriment. They're a club that's struggling. They have consistently struggled in Serie A, so I can't see them after paying £12 million for him. I can't see them sending him out on loan. And then do what? And then they'll have to go out and buy a player or get a loan player themselves. So I can't see it really happening, but it's an interesting story. Let's finish off with a few comments. Father Snowman, hello, mate. How are you? I'll tell you what, it's cold enough for you to be around today, I'll tell you. Caden, hello, mate. And saying hello to everyone. Neil, good afternoon to you. Toby, hello, mate. Stu, good evening to you as well. Andy, good evening. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, we're all good, mate. Scott, how are you? Gary, all the usual faces here. Nice of you to join. I trust Moyes. I hope things are done sooner rather than later. Well, the interesting thing is, Scott, we're now hearing that things may not happen until July. We kind of thought that maybe that things will start moving in the transfer window when Moyes signed his contract, but that was a week or so ago, and no movement. We've still got the Jesse Lingard story still sort of on hold, and I'll talk about that tonight as well. Hello, Charlie. I hope you're well. I'm not muted this time. I actually did double check before I went on. And the Netherlands have just scored their second goal. And Marlon, who's not that he scored, but Marlon, who's playing today, looks really good. But anyway, Neil, I'm not particularly excited by this one. No, I'm not either, to be honest with you. And there's not a lot of this doesn't hold a lot of water, to be honest. It's a weird one. Why are we getting in a loan striker, Kevin? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get one or two players in on loan. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that will be the main striker that we get. I'm still certain that David Moyes will go out and buy a striker, like pay some decent money for one. But I think he's probably thinking about getting two strikers in. And we've kind of said ourselves, is one striker enough when we know that Antonio, we're going to talk about him tonight, and he's going to be playing for Jamaica, probably. So we know that Antonio won't last the whole season. Yarmolenko's doing great in the Euros, but we know he can't last the season, and he might be going. So we may not have a lot of striker options. So I think what Moyes is doing is, I think he's looking at getting a striker in for some decent cash, and then getting either a loan or a freebie in as backup. So that's where I think this story has got a little bit of substance. But like I say, it doesn't suit Cagliari, so I cannot see them wanting to let this player go out on loan. Hardly inspiring. Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. But backup, maybe. Leicester will probably bid for him anyway. Well, yeah, I've got a story about Leicester as well. Neil, better than Benteke. Well, even I'm better than Benteke, and I'm 59 years old, mate. Ray Deeble, we are skitting there. No, not quite. We know that David Moyes is not going to have an awful lot of money to spend in the transfer window. We know that already. We know it's only going to be, I don't know, a base of 35, 40 million pounds, and then he's going to make up whatever he can with what he sells. It might go up miraculously to around 80 million, but even 80 excuse me, even 80 million pounds is not going to get you far these days. We know we're going to have to end up spending about 15 to 20 million on Lingard, so that's 15, 20 million gone already. And if we buy a decent striker, we're going to be looking at anything up to about 30. Boom, there goes your money. Ironclad, hello, mates. I hope you're well. And actually, Ray, I'm also going to talk about us being skint and not skint, and how fans react. Not you in general, mate. Not you specifically, mate, but fans in general. How we react to stories. We know we don't have money, but the story about Daka going to Leicester potentially, I know that's going to get, if it hasn't already, it's going to get Twitter going absolutely nuts. Why can't we buy him, etc. But he's going for something like 35 to 40 million pounds. So anyway, I'll carry on because I don't have much time left. Maybe after the Euros, Mick. Yeah, I think so. But that's a dangerous game to play, because after the Euros, all of a sudden, if a player's played well, and my main story tonight is Yaremchuk from Ukraine. I mean, if he continues to score, what then? How much will these players be worth after the Euros? Hello, Liam. What do you think about Alexander Isaac, the Swedish player? Mate, I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked into him. He hasn't come up in any stories. So my apologies. I don't know much about him. So my apologies. He's probably been playing for the Swedish team, but I've not noticed. Paul Nicklin, they might be offloading a player who has other issues which we're not aware of. That's true, but I actually don't think they're offloading him. I'm not sure that they even want to let him go. Not prolific, but like I said, they're desperate for strikers. They need to stay in the Serie A, especially with the way Italian football's gone and the pandemic and the money. Italian teams and Spanish teams, etc., they're losing money hand over fist. Look at Barcelona and Juventus and AC Milan. They're all looking for freebies. Who's the other Dutch striker who scored earlier on, going for free? He used to play for Man United. Not Malpay, but you know who I mean. There are all these big clubs are now looking for freebies. So it's not going to make much difference for us, really. We're not going to have an awful lot of money ourselves. Neil T, probably Moyes' plan. Toby, yeah, you never know. He might have a plan. Epic, I don't think Moyes has the cash. I think he will have money. I'm pretty sure of that. But not as much money as I think we would all hope for. Tommy, I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're going to join me tonight for the main show at 8:30. Mick, squad player would make sense. That's what I'm thinking. A squad player. Good evening, Trev. I hope we sign Pereira. No more distractions. Well, I think that's all down to whether we sign Lingard or not. If we don't sign Lingard, Pereira's got to be one of the players that we've got to be looking at. 15 million, I believe, is going to be worth. Sean, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Neil Yarmolenko would come back injured anyway. Well, there you go. But Yarmolenko, I'll talk about him tonight as well. Kane's going cheap. Is it true that Man City are putting £100 million bid? Talk about sort of making the player feel a little bit uneasy, a crucial game in the Euros tomorrow. Daniela, always thought this summer window would not see a lot of that. There will be activity. I reckon we'll get about 4 players in, but please don't go expecting that we're going to go and spend an awful lot of money on them. Charlie, absolutely, 2 striker is in. And what about dipping into the academy for a third? Well, we got Odubeko, don't forget. But I think Odubeko might go out on loan. And I want to do a special on all this squad, the youth squad. But what I'm going to do is for the academy players, when we see who's actually going to go out training with the senior players, I'll then do a special show about the youth players, the players that actually go and train with them. Paul Nicklin, Moyes likes Josh Kidney's free and looking for a club. Well, apparently not. We haven't made a bid for him. I think we've gone a bit cold on him. I hope we have. Kane's not good enough. Well, he'll be on the bench because Moyes will say it's just not ready for us. Any news on Arthur? No, mate. It's gone completely quiet, Gary, on all the injury news at the club. Absolutely nothing is coming out. Absolutely nothing. Not a dicky bird, mate. I mean, I'll show you how bad it is that when I scroll through all the stories to do my weekly show, there's not one story about an injured West Ham player. Ironclad. Toby, I still have slim hope for Yama. Last year of his contract, mate. He ain't staying. We're going to get rid of him, even just to save the 115 grand a week salary that we pay him. Ironclad. Our coach doesn't have enough windows for Kane. You're so cruel, mate. Good evening to you, Vegeta, all the way from France. I think I remember. Toby, Paul, you must be joking. Boom. Uh, Trev Tube, all 3-0. Netherlands are smashing whoever they're playing 3-0. Anyway, Trev Tube, gutted about Daka. Me and Irish Tommy had all the songs. Vasily Guda, Yasu good and bad it. Bosbase. Hi, Stel from Cyber. We need quality players this season. I've got my cousins up in Cacopetrial and they showed me a photo that was pissing down with rain over there. Made me feel a bit better because it's pissing down with rain here as well. Where are you, Vasilis? Which part of Cyprus are you at, mate? Thank you for joining. Ashley, I'm new. I'm new from Ashley. Come on, you irons. Good afternoon to you, Ashley. Join me tonight at 8:30 for the main show. And do subscribe to the channel if you like what you hear. You might not, but hey, you never know. But thank you for joining us, mate. There you go. Make sure you join in for the madness later on. Right. I'm gonna go because I've got to get myself ready for the for the show now. Neil T, have you tuned into Jonathan Waft? Kevin Bering, hello, mate. The relocation of your seat, could you explain that they've already moved my seat when I ring you? Hi, Stel, the relocation of your seat, could you explain that they have already moved my seat when I ring you? Are you in Bobby Moore lower or Trevor Brooking lower? One or the other. But they did write to us some time ago, mate, last year, and they said, here's where your new seat's going to be, because mine was not miles away, but it was not where I thought it'd be. But I've relocated it again. Oh, no, I haven't relocated again. I quite like where I am now. Are you in Bobby Moore lower or Trevor Brooking lower? What else we got here? Liam. Man City won't buy Kane because they allegedly looking at Grealish for 80. I mean, Grealish, 80 million. Well, he'll get him half a dozen penalties, I guess, wouldn't he? That'll be worth the money, the transfer fee in its own right. Mark Collins, Pereira at 15 is surely good business. Let's not hang around. I think it's down to whether we get Lingard first or not. I'm sure Pereira has got to be on the list, but you never know. David Moyes, doesn't give a lot out. Robert, hello mate. Breaking Mount and Chilwell to isolate after being with Gilmore. I don't know. Are they? Breaking Mount and Chilwell to isolate after being with Gilmore. I don't know, mate. Are you joking? I'm not so sure. Toby, want to bet a beer on Yarmouth staying? No, I wouldn't want to bet a beer because the only problem is no one's going to want to buy him, mate. So unless we give him away for nothing. Irish, I'll be here in the live chat with bells on for the 8:30, mate. 8:30, unless I've advertised it for 8 by mistake, but 8:30. Toby, and if I have advertised it for 8, my apologies. I think the France team is the best in the world. Vegeta, I like Canter and a few others. Popper as a penis. Hammerette, you haven't missed it because you're here. Good afternoon to you. You're in Nicosia. Suddenly too much rain today all over the island. See you soon. Nine up. I don't go to Iron Apple, but I go to Protera. Very close by. I'm too old for Iron Apple, Vasilis. My God, but no way. But I've got family in Nicosia in Strovola, near Strovola, and Zeri as well. Love Nicosia. Ironclad, but that's in the suburbs for you, isn't it? If you're in the heart of it. Sorry, I'm having banter with my Cypriot friend there. Ironclad, Ashley, have some music ready tonight because Stel will be on. Cheeky bastard. Good afternoon, Fo. How are you, mate? It's true, Ashley. I've forgotten to put my microphone on twice in a row in the last few shows. Ironclad, Mountain Chilwell. Oh, I thought it was 4. No, it's not. Mountain Chilwell have tested negative by Iceland. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. What they do? How's that? What about the rest of the squad? Beanie, Hammer's chat just finished by some chance, Sleazy. Ho. Let's scroll down. Irish, something I know. So just like to be. Thank God I haven't made another error because I would have. Neil still doesn't buy beers. I did offer to buy a beer when I met the others, but they bought me one instead. I think Toby bought me one. Right. Final one. Check Sky Sports. Mount Juba has to isolate due to being close to Gilmore. What about the rest of the squad? That's a bit weird. Okay. Thank you all for joining. See you all at 8:30 tonight for the West Ham Weekly. I tell you what, I've got so many transfer stories to bring to you. Some that you already know about, but about 4 or 5 new ones. I've already given away one of the new transfer stories now. So do join me at 8:30 tonight. Thank you very much for listening and for getting involved. I'm going to watch. No, I'm not. I'm going to get ready for the More Than Just a Podcast. So listen to that when that comes out in the next day or two, and see you all later. Cheeky git. I'll see you all at 8:30.